Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Who apparently ruined the intro because I realized I wasn't muted when I coughed.
Yes.
It's that kind of show, folks.
I thought I heard a cough in there somewhere.
It wasn't me.
I'm
breathing.
In case you wonder who that voice was, that is our special guest for this week of Bonnie View.
Yay! I'm so glad to be here on your 48th episode.
Ooh, 48. Yes, just remember, the U.S. had 48 states for quite a long time before it went to 50.
See, what's the 48th state?
Only you would know that, Pineleaf.
Alaska and Hawaii were last, right?
Right, Alaska and Hawaii were when they were added in 1960, made it 50.
Okay,
Who was 48?
So who was the 48th Pineleaf? Come on, consult Pinepedia. Who was
probably Oklahoma.
Oh, really? I was going to say Oregon or something.
Wow, we have really gone off the rails.
Silence.
We just started.
Yes, we're off the rails already.
Well, that didn't take long.
Well, let's go into game news, and I'll show you why we're off the rails.
No surprise.
Our one story on game news this week is the DDO Chronicle issue 156. And is this a really exciting episode of the Chronicle?
Sure.
I didn't quite catch great conviction in there.
No, they're like all almost exciting. Well, almost all of them are exciting.
Well, that's
the
really
right
rousing. They're almost exciting.
No, because we were talking about this before the show.
We actually were.
There's one thing in here that is amazing.
Yes, and we're going to talk about it twice. It's so amazing.
Ooh.
It is so amazing, and it deserves talking about twice.
It does. I agree totally with Bonnie. And if people out there are going, what is it? What is it? What is it?
We're not telling you.
Yeah, it's the Stormreach campaign. Basically, what this is a player made a guide for playing through the game in the style of an old school D&D module. That's all I'll say for now. It is amazing, and we'll talk about it later in the show.
So they deserve all the spotlight.
They do. It's amazing. Also in the Chronicle, Full Moon Fury offers some advice on elemental damage defense. So click over to get some tips on fighting those elements. And in the fan site news, DDO Cast had a episode on the different necklaces in the game and which necklaces they think you should try to get and which ones you should try to avoid. So click over and listen to that episode of DDO Cast. And Confessions of a Geek Mom recently started a Facebook page. So click over and give our guest that we had a few weeks ago a like on Facebook.
Like her.
And I'm telling you, I told her this when she was on the show, but I'll say it again. Her blog is getting better and better. I am enjoying her blog so much.
Oh, great.
It is so much fun to read about what she is doing with her gamer child. And they recently just took her on her first raid. So she has done her first raid. And that was pretty exciting to read about how excited she got to actually partake in a raid.
Oh, that's great. Parents and kids raiding together.
It is. It's great.
So that kid has one more raid than I have.
I know. Like if the mother or child pulls a named item, who gets the named item?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Not to stir the pot or anything, but.
It's like, no, that's Mommy's sword. No,
this is how the Hatfields and McCoys got started, you know?
Exactly. And really, for the Chronicle, that's about it. We do have a little mushy screenshot, though.
Yes, that does look a little bit mushy.
Those are our favorite.
Love is in the air.
But the newest screenshot is better.
The
next one. So just hold your breath and look at it, and it's cool.
So next week's screenshot that'll be in the Chronicle has Bonnie's stamp of approval. It's going to be awesome.
Stamp of approval.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear about that then.
Make a note of that.
Oh, and to answer your earlier question, by the way, state number 48 is Arizona.
Whoa! Oh, I didn't think of Arizona. Okay, cool. I can understand that.
All right, so let's head into the store sales.
Free sample of the week is the Omni Spell Dust. You get 50 of those with the coupon code OMNX50.
That's pretty nice.
You
don't want to be that guy who gets in the quest or gets in the dungeon or gets in the raid and you ran out of a spell component that casts your most powerful spell.
You probably wouldn't be very popular in groups if that would happen.
Right.
But if you retrieve this ominous spell dust, you will not be that person. You will be popular.
Oh, there's a reason why I take Anshu materials.
Uh-huh.
She just shut you down, Piney.
I take ominous spell dust whenever I can.
Yeah, I do too as well, too.
I'm unbearably lucky. Like, every once in a while, I'll pull a stack from a chest, because it can drop in chest, and I feel like I've been just unreasonably lucky with that.
All right.
So I usually just wait till it's a free sample and get it for the
Yay!
sample.
It works either way.
Yes. Also at the store, 20% off the True Hearts of Wood, select Lesser Hearts of Wood, the Quest XP Elixirs, healing items, and the Spell Point Potions, all 20% off in the DDO store.
Those things are all exciting.
All right, then let's head into the player news. And this week's DDO players poll is Buddy Weekends. Are they good or bad?
Well, according to the voters in our poll, they are good. That was the winning vote with 85% of the vote at 39 votes out of our total of 46. So a lot of people really enjoyed the Buddy Weekend.
And
I didn't vote in the poll, but after reading the comments, I totally look at it with new eyes because I think that they made really good points about families playing together. Geek Mom again with her comment.
Yes.
And the same thing for Japana. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, because I play multiple clients because reasons. I have multiple accounts that have my strongest characters on them. So I just think about, I'm playing off on my own with multiple clients and I'm getting an extra bonus and I'm like a curmudgeon and a hermit and I hate everyone. And that's how I thought about this kind of bonus. But when I read people like playing like as a family, I'm like, okay, totally. If you're playing togetherness, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm on your side now.
Okay, Geek Mom said, I love it. Our geek family is an immediate 3 people in the party. I cannot wait for it again.
And Japana said, it is just hard to see any downside to this. There is no penalty for soloing, only a reward for grouping. So you can feel free to do your own thing if you prefer, or reap the rewards of a companionship. All good, no bad.
Well, there is one thing, though, that was bad. It said weekend.
Oh.
And, of course, guess when I most likely group?
During the week.
Yeah, during the week.
Wednesdays, yes.
Sometimes, I feel you. Sometimes I wish we had bonuses and stuff going on during the week because, like, the challenge reward bonus that happened this past weekend, I totally wanted to do that, but I got distracted with shiny things. And I didn't get to do it. And now that I have a chance that I could have done it, it is no longer running.
All right, and so let's get back then to the Stormreach campaign, this in-depth guide into the campaign. There's quite a bit here.
Yes, it is, and I just, for the article on our site, I just barely glossed over what is actually in here. The player by the name of Deadlock over on the Galanda server, they have a static group that he plays with on Monday nights. And they decided that they wanted to do DDO from the starting point clear through as far as they can go that's in the game now. And in the midst of doing this, he decided it would be fun to give his players an old school feel with like a module type thing to go through and, talk about their adventures. So thus the Stormreach campaign was born. And Deadlock actually contacted me about this, and I was asking him some questions. And he says about it, I've recently completed a project to create a campaign guide for DDO based on the nostalgic memories of the old pen and paper campaign docs. The result is a story-based narrative that takes you from coming around on a wintry beach in Korthos through all of Eberron-based content. Each chapter is a semi-self-contained and gives you a bit of introduction to the storyline, and then it outlines the quest that you have to do and some victory narrative at the end. And I am going to say about how this is written, if you're a lore person, you are going to eat this up. This is very
I know, I
heavy
can't wait.
into the lore. It is amazing. Basically, like I said in the article, it's a guide that you can use while playing the game. And also, after reading through most of this, and I think I might try to do this, you could actually take this, and with a little tweaking, you could use this in a 5e game. The way he has it written out, it wouldn't be that hard to actually use this in a tabletop setting. It would be a little bit of work to do, but it wouldn't be bad. That's something I think I might try with this.
I'm looking forward to just reading it.
It's amazing.
Your next means of killing your players?
It might be.
Yes.
After they die in Ravenloft, this might be next.
Well, they still have to meet so they could die in Ravenloft,
Well,
right?
this is true. I think we're going to do it this weekend, actually. So
Ooh.
stay tuned for that.
Ooh, right.
Yeah, Deadlock says the interesting thing is that in the game there is a lot of rich lore and content that are mentioned by the NPCs in the game, but not really soaked in by the players because a lot of people, just read through the quest text and don't think about it.
But that's assuming that they read it in the first place.
Well, see, this is true, and there's a lot of people, that don't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in the article that I put up, I just show some examples of what it looks like. It is a PDF, and it is 324 pages, actually. And it can be downloaded for free via a Dropbox link, which I've included in the article over on ddoplayers.com. And I'm going to give a hint here. You will want to tune in a few weeks for our 50th episode.
Woohoo!
Something about this is going to come up in the 50th episode, but that's all I'm going to say.
But something about the Stormreach campaign?
Yes.
Well, then, I guess we're going to have to discuss the 50th anniversary of our 50th episode then. And I've heard a rumor that we're going to have a couple of guests there.
We are, and I actually just added a guest before the show started.
There's going to be a stampede in the DDO players
It
lobby.
is. It's going to be crazy because
Standing room only.
The Damsels of DDO, Saba Jade, Lessa, and Mithri. And we also are going to have Community Manager Cordovan on. And Bonnie has agreed to come back on.
Okay.
Yes!
Is Cordovan going to get a word in edgewise?
No, he's not. Nobody is. It's going to be the Bonnie and the Lessa and the Saba Jade and the Mithri show.
He is going to talk about Update 28, though, probably.
If he can get the other people. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's going to be an insane show with all those people. But yeah, it should be a really fun show. Another little hint I'll drop about the 50th episode is you are going to want to tune in right at the very beginning of the show because we are going to have something special. There's going to be an interview. Pine Leaf and I are getting interviewed by somebody.
We're getting interviewed?
By somebody special.
Interviewed or grilled?
Whoa.
Kind of both, actually.
Is this an interrogation?
But
Are there going to be
pretty much
bright, shining lights in your face?
It wasn't an interrogation. When you find out who was doing this, you'll find out why.
All right.
Okay.
It was interesting. So yes. So that's going to play at the very beginning of the show. So you're going to want to tune in right at 8:30 on September the 14th because that's how we're going to kick off our 50th anniversary.
Right.
And
No
don't worry,
lollygagging.
we do expect to be done before midnight, right?
we hope. But with Bonnie and the damsels, both
Please stop talking.
maybe not. Maybe not. But yeah, and we will also have giveaways all throughout the show in the chat room for anybody that joins us live, and then we'll also have some on the blog afterwards in case you couldn't join us. So lots of giveaways, lots of fun, lots of reminiscing, and just a good time should be had. And that is going to be September the 14th will be our 50th episode, so we hope you join us.
All right, then. Then let's head into news beyond DDO. And the first item is that Sword Coast Legends early access is starting soon. And I heard that they are going to be doing the prep work. They are the pre-show to 50th episode.
They are, because the first pre-Head Start weekend will be the weekend of September the 11th, and that is going to run through the 13th. And that is only going to be available to members of what they're calling the Design Council. And that is for those that pre-ordered one of the limited edition collector's edition or the campaign collector's pack. So basically,
whatever those are.
That is the
I don't
one
know if that's what I ordered, but...
no, that's the one that includes the statue, and it was like
Oh.
$249, I want to say. Yeah, that's like
Oh no, I did not order
like
that.
the big yeah.
But I ordered something, and I'm gonna get something eventually.
And then the second one will run September the 18th through the 20th, and that will be open to everyone that pre-ordered.
All right.
And the one that is going to be September the 18th to the 20th is going to be the first time that the Dungeon Master mode is going to be active for players. So you'll get to check out how the Dungeon Master mode is going to work for a dungeon crawl through Sword Coast Legends.
Awesome.
See how fast it takes to die.
And then the third and final session is going to run September the 24th up through the game's release date, which is September the 29th. And once again, they do say that the Dungeon Master mode will be turned on. And the third one is going to be open for anybody that pre-ordered as well, regardless of which version that you bought. And the nice thing about in all of the Head Start weekends, you're going to be able to actually play with members of Digital Extremes and InSpace, of course, the designers, and they are going to have some folks from Wizards of the Coast there as well playing. So you might be playing along somebody from Wizards of the Coast, possibly.
Ooh. As another milestone, Order of the Stick has reached strip number 1,000. In fact, today they posted strip 1001. And Order of the Stick is a comic strip, is a stick-type drawing, stick-style comic strip that is essentially think of it as a parody of 3.5 D&D. It started out right when 3.5 was released. The very first strip makes references to 3.5 upgrades because of the character changes that were made between 3 and 3.5. And they have continued along there. At first, it was just random jokes, and then slowly they started to gain their story, and this story has become more and more epic. And like everybody was anticipating because wondering what was he going to do for the strip number 1000, and it was, yes, a really epic scene. I'll just have to say that. Now, if you have never read Order of Strip, I suggest you start at the beginning and go from there
Store
so
up
that you get
provisions.
the entire story.
Because you
Because-
won't stop.
Right, because it might be hard to follow strip number 1000 if you haven't seen the other 999. You know what's going on here.
And I seem to remember that the Order of the Stick, that person, they did some early panels before they got into the actual characters. They did screenshots from Baldur's Gate Shadows of Amn and did little bubble talk with them. And I remember that was the first thing I saw by that person, and then started reading Order of the Stick.
Ah, okay.
So that makes me sentimental because anything related to Baldur's Gate 2, I'm like, whoa. So Order of the Stick, awesome.
Ah, yes. What'd you think of strip 1000?
I haven't actually read strip 1000 yet, so
Ooh.
no spoilers.
Okay, I won't give you any spoilers. How far have you gotten?
I don't know. I'm behind. So I have at least 100. I have 100 at least to read.
Oh, you've
I've
got
gotten behind.
you've got to catch it because
I have to set aside a time to just go through it. It's like when you binge watch TV, binge read comics.
That's what I was going to say. You're going to binge read Order of the Stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So it
how
sounds
that's how I've always done it. Is I sit down and I read 100 strips or so, and I just I spaz, and then I come back and read more.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think it's time for one of those because we are getting to a really interesting point. Just say that.
Nice tease, finally. Nice tease.
Nice teaser, yes. All right. Drac, have you ever read Order to Stick?
I have not. I never have, but...
Okay, start at the beginning.
From hearing all the talk, I'm going to have to. I'm just going to have to binge my way through 1 to 1,000.
It's been going on for such a long time. Is it how old is it? 15 years or so?
Well, as I said, it was
13.
first done at 3.5, so...
But yeah,
that's
I'm
pretty...
definitely going to
It all
check
runs
it out.
together
No,
in
10
my head.
years. I think it's 10
10 years?
Yeah, because I think he said that... Right, because I believe that... I think right now, today is right about the 10th anniversary of the strip.
It's been a good 10 years.
And it was really... Yeah, just trying to following a single strip for 10 years is quite a bit, though I think I have been following a regular web comics even longer.
Well, that's kind of impressive, though, that they kept a comic strip online going for 10 years, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh, yes.
just an impressive feat right there, much less doing 1,000 strips.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. There aren't too many that have lasted that long, and it has been getting better and better, I think, as it's been going along. The early ones, you'll see that when I looked at strip 1 just before writing the article, I took another look at strip 1 and I said, boy, has his art style improved over the last 10 years.
Are they?
Let's then head into PAX Prime. What's going on with PAX Prime?
PAX Prime happened last weekend.
Ooh.
I wasn't there. I know that Patrick Shamgar from DDO Cast was there, and there was like maybe some DDO players met up at PAX Prime.
Annual gathering for buffs.
Yes, gathering for buffs. But the only thing I care about is Acquisitions Incorporated. And every PAX, like PAX Prime and PAX East, they do a tabletop session of Acquisitions Incorporated. And so I have found a copy of it on YouTube, a film of it, and I've just started watching, and it's so funny. So if you have not ever been exposed to Acquisitions Incorporated before, you really should check it out, because there's some really funny, entertaining tabletop D&D sessions with Chris Perkins as the Dungeon Master, and he is like amazing. He is like a rock star of Dungeon Masters.
Chris Perkins is my personal hero. That is all I'm
Oh
going
my
to say.
gosh.
The man is amazing.
He is amazing.
He is. The man is
amazing. He's like, oh, I just would swoon if he like DM'd something in Dungeons and Dragons Online. I would never get over that. I don't know. I just would be so happy. But the earliest sessions,
even more so than Will Wheaton.
Even more so. I was dreaming. I was like, oh, if the world was perfect, and we could have anybody who DM'd Temple of Elemental Evil, I would choose Chris Perkins. But when we got Will Wheaton, I was like, okay, I can live with that. I can live with that. But yeah,
should have been Perkins, but Wheaton, you're okay.
Perkins, but I can totally be okay with that. But the earliest sessions, this is something else that's been going on for 10 years. So the earliest sessions were podcasts, and you can listen to the old podcasts if you go to Wizards of the Coast and listen to their podcast channel. Not to pimp somebody else, but hey, it's Wizards of the Coast.
Which I will actually provide a link for that. I will find the link for it.
And then I guess the past 3 or 4 years, they have been at the PAX conventions, and you can see actual videos of their D&D sessions. They've got some fantastic props. Chris Perkins always comes to the table with some great costumes, some great characterization, some great storytelling. And those are on YouTube. You can find them. And you should totally, if you haven't seen them before and you enjoy Dungeons & Dragons, go check it out.
And I will just add to, if you have ever thought about being a DM and you want to be a DM, just watch this and watch how Chris Perkins DMs. And you will learn so much about how to be a good DM just by watching Chris Perkins.
You just have to avoid saying, oh, no, I can never be that good. I'll just give up now.
Exactly. You're never going to be Chris Perkins, but you might be a halfway decent DM.
But if you're half as good as Chris Perkins, that is not shabby.
That's true.
All right. Let's then go into our guest section and to find out what she has been up to. Or I presume you've been up to something.
I've been up to something because Draculetta asked me if I had been up to anything, and I hadn't.
So it's my fault, is what you're saying.
It is your fault. It's also a little bit the Damsels of DDO's fault, and I'm going to get into that in a blog. But because I like blaming them for stuff, it's fun. It always leads to trouble. But you asked if I had anything I wanted to talk about, and I was like, oh gosh, I don't have anything to talk about. So for the past 2 weeks, I'm like, I must get something to talk about. So I went rummaging through my grimoire of questionable ideas of things that I thought about in the past, but I never did because it was questionable.
Grimoire of questionable ideas.
I recorded a new DDO song. The last time I did a song was when Moosey Pants and I were streaming a Twitch show on the DDO Stream Twitch channel, and it was a song called Ladies Who Party. And I liked it. I think some other people liked it too. And it's on YouTube on my channel. And I came up with the second song that was somewhat inspired by Lessa called Permadeath Love Song. And I'm going to be posting the links and stuff and putting it on Twitter and the forums and I don't know, some buses or something. So you can check it out later. After this podcast, I'm going to go live with this new song, and I hope people enjoy it. I had a lot of fun, and it's your fault, Drac, because I didn't have anything to talk about.
You're welcome, Stormbreach. You're welcome.
So, hey, everybody, it's a song. If you don't like it, it's his fault. If you like it, it's my fault.
Oh, I like that. Blame track. Gotcha. Good to know.
It works. Maybe I won't still be invited into
That's right.
podcast.
It depends on how well the song goes.
It
If
depends
it's
on
good,
how
you
much
might be
like the
back. If
song.
not,
Well,
we'll
it depends
see.
on how in love you are with permadeath.
Permadeath. You don't have to be in love with permadeath to love the permadeath love song.
Okay.
It's a story about a couple who started playing DDO together, and they came up through the ranks, and they leveled, and they played together, and they ran through dungeons. They were happy, but the female player decided that she has changed, and she wants to go permadeath. And so the song is basically about their relationship.
Oh.
See, now I want to go watch
And
this.
he doesn't like permadeath, I guess?
He's a Zerger.
He's a Zerger.
He's a Zerger by nature, and they used to Zerg together, but she has changed. She's grown. She reincarnated into a Shader Kai, and she just felt that she wanted to have a meaningful death. She wanted, there to be purpose to it. So that's what the song is about, and I had a lot of fun. I laughed myself silly. I laughed making the video, and it was a lot of fun. So I hope people enjoy it.
So how long did it take you to make it, roughly?
Well, that's what I did this week instead of doing the challenges in DDO. I stood around waiting for moments that I could film with OBS. I waited for it to rain in the sands of Menactrum. I was like, rain! And so that's what I did this weekend instead of actually getting challenge materials.
So you stood in the desert waiting for it to
I
rain.
stood in the desert
Oh,
waiting for it to rain.
And how
That's
often
what I
does it
do
rain in
for
the
that's what I
desert?
do for you people. It does actually rain like at least once a day, I think.
Oh,
There's a
what?
couple places I think it rains regularly, like Delara's Graveyard seems to rain. The desert does rain.
Yeah, I have been in Sands of Menactrum before when it was raining. So yes, it does
crazy.
rain.
It's really crazy. But I'm not sure that some places do rain. Like I'm not sure the harbor rains. I can't remember. I know it snows in the harbor during special times of year.
Yeah, I can't think if it's ever rained or not. I don't remember it ever raining in the harbor.
Wow, when you're just staying there waiting for it to rain, and there are people running by you, and there are people like running by and getting in the shot.
You're like,
I'm
leave,
like,
leave,
I'm
I'm busy
waiting-
here, leave.
I'm waiting for an airship to go overhead, and make noise or something. It's like too real.
You
yeah,
finally
that's-
get around to doing it in a dragon photobombs the shot.
And I had worked on the song back in I guess February or whenever I did some other songs about the damsels, but it didn't come together quickly enough for my purposes. And so I pulled that out of the grimoire of questionable ideas, and I just revisited it and worked on it over like 3 more days. And it all came together eventually, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
You be the judge.
You're really selling this, Bonnie. You're really selling it.
I know. I never know what to say because, like, I get to the point where I think it's hilarious, and it's like, well, it's your song, so you've got blinders on, you
Right.
know, and
Well-
I haven't shared it with anybody or anything or gotten any feedback, so I don't know. I could be crazy, but I had a good time, so I think that in itself is sometime point, and then you just post it and hope that someone else gets the joke. That's enough about me.
All right then.
That's what I did
Then
this week.
let's head into our week in DDO then. Drac, did you do anything interesting?
I did not do anything other than what we did on Wednesday night. I had some personal life stuff come up this week, so that took away pretty much all of my game time. I didn't even log in once other than when we played, so I'll let you talk about the fun we had in the Giant Hold
I
stuff.
think you should talk about it this week since that's
Okay,
your week.
I will do that. We basically wrapped up in the Giant Hold. We did the Foundations of Discord. We did the Cry for Help and Trial by Fire. And Pine Leaf and I both reached level 15 by doing this, actually. So we're slowly on our way. We're also...
That's what Giant Hold is for.
Exactly, and we're flagged for the raid in the Giant Hold, which we'll probably never ever do. But hey, we're flagged for it
Oh,
now.
that's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's a nice one for the lore and stuff like we talked about earlier.
Right.
That's
what
a
we
good,
did
good
is
lore rate.
Yeah. What we did, though, for the Crucible was, we have one skip in here, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, look, we can skip.
Decision.
We can skip. Crucible,
I always
done.
skip it.
Oh, God.
Now,
I hate it.
was this your first time doing a Cry for Help?
Yes, it was.
How did you enjoy the Dungeon Master in that one?
I'm trying to
It's pretty legendary. It's the please help me,
anybody?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I think, what was it, Pine Leaf? We were probably halfway through. I'm like, I can tell you how this is going to end.
Yeah, we were saying.
I almost had it right. I was close. I was close to how it ended. But yeah, I think I mentioned it, Pine Leaf, a couple times.
Yeah, we were discussing possible ways in which none of them which, no matter what we did, it involved some sort of nasty boss. And the question is whether it was the slight chance of it actually being someone who was captured and that the boss will then immediately attack me and found them, or if Sid was actually faking it, Dan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
because of the DM voicing, that's always one of the more memorable ones in Giant Hold, and I think people I don't know, I think it's a player favorite because of that.
Yeah.
I did mention to Pine Leaf a couple times. I'm like, is that really the best DM voice they could come up with for that? Nothing bad against whoever Turbine.
Just wait till you get to Cold Chamber.
That's what everybody has told me, because I said something on Twitter about it, and everybody's like, wait till Cold Chamber.
And I don't mind Cold Chamber. It's just that there's some chaos there.
Yeah, and that's what I've
That's
heard.
all.
Yeah, so.
Well,
chaos is the word I can say.
We got that going for us finally.
Right. Well, the one thing about this one is that whenever you have the giants talking in there, the first thing that Drac and I were thinking of were the Ents from Lotro.
Oh.
There wasn't a lot of that until they came out with the Epic Giant Hold, and then suddenly you have all of those Debbie Downer giant talking messages, and it makes me he genuinely makes me sad to hear him talking about this stuff in his voice, and I'm like, oh, you Debbie Downer. I always root for the truthful one when I get into the Epic raid. I root for the truthful one because he sounds cool. I don't know. I'm probably a bad person because I'm easily swayed by Eretricos is awesome and huggable, and the truthful one sounds cooler than the Storm Reaver.
Well, he is quite the emo giant, so.
So I, if I did a tabletop version of Eberron, I would not be probably the best person to have in your party.
All right. Then for my permit, all right, yeah, now I guess it's time for my week now. And in addition to the Giant Hold, I started my Permadeath Paladin, the one for my series, not because I remember I once had a Permadeath Paladin in Bonnie's Kinship that I forgot what happened to him, but it wasn't
probably
pretty.
Waterworks.
Is that another epic Pine Leaf death?
Yeah, I think it might have been Water. Actually,
Waterworks is a cruel, cruel place for permadeath.
Yes. I've been getting through it, but the first time doing Waterworks permadeath, is a great way to have it finished. Yes. So therefore, I started
Yes.
my paladin here. So I just did the early stuff, the Korthos village stuff, where the first 4 instances that you do. So I haven't gotten very far with that yet, but I've gotten ready to rev up and see how far I can get the paladin this time. I think I should be able to get the paladin all the way through. The one that's going to bug me, I don't think a paladin should really have any trouble with any of them once you understand what you're doing.
Exactly. No, you shouldn't have any problem.
Right. So, Bonnie View, what did you do?
Well, in the Stranger Things Have Happened section, this past week, in terms of DDO play, other than standing in the village of Menactrum waiting for it to rain, I have a paladin. It's actually my top character, Zoisha, and I had reincarnated her into a blade-forged paladin, so she was level 15. So there's absolutely there's a big advantage there. But what did I do? I did Coin Lord and House Kundarak favor quests because they give you more inventory space and more bank space. So I did Hayton's Rest and Kenneth Crystal and Storehouse Secret and basically everything on Korthos that you did. because
Right.
a lot of those are Coilered favor, and I did some quests in House K for the House Kundarak favor.
Oh, I should have guessed that House K would give you bank space. Now I have to go about and do some back quests on House K.
There are a lot
to
of
get it.
level 5 and 6 quests that can get you to and what I did was I did the level 5 and level 6 ones that are in House Kundarak, and then I went and I did one quest called Caverns of Koromar. I don't know if you've done that one yet. It's level 8 base, I think. And then I went to Ataraxia's Haven, which is the most luxurious vacation spot you're never going to go to. And it has 2 quests on it that are base level 10, I think. And I did those for the favor as well. I skipped doing any Vault of Night things that are base level 8 and 9 because I'm saving that for when I'm epic. And I didn't do any red fins either for the same reason. So now that I've named all these House K quests, there's a couple more that I could name. Made to Order and Stormwald's Mind. Those are also like level 8 to 10 kind of quests, but they're they're here and there and everywhere. They just put them in a corner somewhere in a wagon, and it's like you got to find out where it is. And Made to Order is horrible because it has lots of traps. So if you can't do traps, you probably should avoid it at all costs, especially
Jack
if you're permadeath.
And I have an artificer and a ranger that has a lot of rogues splashed in. I think we can handle traps.
Yeah, but see, our problem is
Because you Made to Order.
our problem we have is we always fight over the trap, though.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like we see, there's a control panel. Who's going to get there first?
Who's going to get to the
Reading
control
the
panel
thieves
first?
tool. Be
That's
like,
right.
whoever searched it gets to pick it or whatever.
Except Pine Leaf always has me do the ones that you have to like run through first to get to the control panel because I have more, like dodge and reflex saves. So he's like, why don't you go ahead and handle that one?
Right, he takes no
Well,
damage.
Christy
I
knows
get
it's
killed, so
there.
therefore
Yeah.
it's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. I can just run through and I'm like, it's easy, just run through it. Pine Leaf tries it, dead. Like, oh yeah, I forgot you had no reflex saves. Sorry about that. Here,
And
let me
what's
get
bad
your
is when you,
stone.
when you play a character, a build that has reflex saves, and then you reincarnate into a character that has no reflex saves, and you're like, wait a second, I used to be able to do this. Oh yeah, I suck now. Oh gosh, you have to relearn, how to play your particular character and what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. It's mind blowing for me because I get set in my ways.
Let's have a look at let's go to our donations first. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards including a mention on DDO Players News or even to be a guest host with us. Currently we have 17 and we're getting very, very close to our next giveaway, which I believe has something to do with DDO.
It is a 1-year VIP code, so
Whoa.
that's
how
a pretty
far
awesome
we're
price. We're less than $20 actually,
Ooh.
so we're almost there.
Almost
That's that's really worth it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right.
VIP is cool.
All right. Let's head into our featured comments. Quijan on Stormreach campaign says, glad you enjoyed. Was a lot of fun putting it together over the past year. And how close was I on that pronunciation track?
I'm actually not sure because I just refer to him as Deadlock, which is his forum.
Yeah. I'm assuming that too.
So yeah, I don't know. That's probably pretty close, though. I would think that's probably how I would say it.
Yeah,
but yeah, that
I
is
didn't know
actually
whether
Deadlock.
that J would be a just sound or a yes sound, depending on.
Quijan. I would say it is Quijan. So
yeah, it doesn't help that I've been learning Old English recently, which really messes up the brain. And DDO Central on the Stormreach campaign says, it's an incredible guide to DDO. I read through it last night, and I couldn't believe the amount of detail. No, what I can't believe is that he read through it in one night.
Hey, I'm telling you, Pine Leaf, if you start reading it, you might read through it in one night, too. Because I about did. I had to make myself stop reading it because it was that engrossing.
So do I start reading this before or after I do my Order of the Stick reading? I'm gonna have to like flip a coin.
That is quite the moral dilemma you have going on there.
It is the moral dilemma. Or wait, I have to watch Acquisitions Incorporated first.
Okay,
That is a moral
Chris
imperative.
Perkins, take priority.
Chris Perkins trumps all.
Chris Perkins.
And then I will do one of these other two things of which we have spoken.
Oh, he even got a real nice shot of the white dragon flying.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Pine Leaf, you were literally falling in love with this when you start reading it because you really enjoy the lore, I know. So you are really going to enjoy this. It is great. Amazing.
And it's always one of my favorite things about DDO is when you have the continuity between characters and they appear multiple times in multiple places in the story. My favorite part of when they came out with Mark of Death was learning more about the story. It was just... That was my favorite part. I mean, I like doing the raid, but learning the story behind the abbot and what's her name? I can't remember now that I like it so much. No, not Marguerite. That's good too. Oh, I like that too. The catacombs, the whole story there about the duality. Oh wow. So there's things like that I really enjoy. I cannot remember her name. This is gonna drive me crazy.
It depends whose name are you, I guess which character you're talking about. I mean,
the dragon elven babe in the Mark of Death. Who has the Mark of Death?
I haven't done Mark of Death, so I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, you haven't done Mark of Death, but it's killing me that I cannot think of her name right now. I'm literally, my brain is exploding. You've got to put in the show notes later or something, or somebody's got to like save my life and tell me what her name is.
Oh, I know because I've heard because I actually haven't
done it yet
either.
Wait! Like I'll find the DDO wiki. I gotta go.
But I have heard people talking about it.
I'm having a wiki emergency.
Google food to the rescue.
Oh my gosh, Mark of Death! Oh my gosh, I can't type.
All right.
I'm going to there. I will know before you close out the show. I will totally know.
We will
sure
have
about
an answer.
Oh my gosh, I may not actually know.
All right.
Wait, why does this not tell me what her name is?
You can contact us at podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And Bonnie, how can they contact you?
They can contact me through Twitter. You can follow me, Bonnie Bew, on Twitter. And you can also send me a message through Twitch as Bonnie Bew, or send me a message through YouTube as Bonnie Bew. And you know who the chick is that I can't remember the name of? It's frickin' Lady Vol. She's like, a god. It's Lady Vol! The lore behind Lady Vol is what the epic Necropolis 4 brought to us, and I like so much. So yes, I'm losing my mind.
All right then. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at a new time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News with new hosts Mel and Andrew, and that is not this week, but starts next week. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lojo Players News. You can join us for our live shows by going to ddoplayers.com/live. And that is it for this week, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to blast those bugbears.